Numerous calls coming in to Crime Line. New leads in Lubbock's unsolved homicides.
The tiniest bit of new information might guide us in the right direction.
Revisiting each crime scene.
Found just outside of Slayton.
Profiling each victim.
Moved to Lubbock from the Houston area.
Laying out what is known.
Authorities have linked
in hopes of uncovering what is not.
Continue to actively investigate all
because someone knows something.
Here in Abner, since 1995, the bodies of 6 women have been discovered in rural areas around Lubbock. Take a look at this map. 1995, Phyllis Robinson. 1999, Amanda Schwinn. 2003, Cynthia Palacio. A year after that, 2004, Linda Carbajal. Authorities have linked Palacio and Carbajal's cases through forensic science. 2007, Salina Kuykendall. Just a year after that, Monica Adams in 2008. Now, these 3 women have been found within the same area about 2.5 miles from each other. Our 8-month investigation of all of these cases has uncovered new details, and just a few weeks ago, a major breakthrough in one of the unsolved murders yielded a suspect. We were there on October 9th when Lubbock police announced they had arrested this man, Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr., and charged him with the murder of Monica Adams. Police worked for more than 6 years to piece together details in this case that eventually led to Limbaugh Jr.'s arrest. But still, 5 of these cases remain unsolved. Tonight, we launch a special investigation to find out who is responsible, and police need your help because in every case, someone knows something.
Obviously, someone knows something.
Captain John Caspel brings this attitude to every case he works.
All it takes is for that one link, that one hit, that one piece of evidence, that one witness to come forward. They know something.
Or it may be a victim in another unsolved crime, like in the case of Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr. Back in 2008, a woman reported she had been sexually assaulted, and while she gave a description of the suspect, police were unable to find her attacker, but they did obtain DNA evidence. Later that same year, the body of Monica Adams was discovered, and the DNA matched. One suspect, 2 crimes. Earlier this year, detectives resubmitted that DNA evidence, hoping new DNA technology that could link family members would help solve these cases. They got a hit. DNA confirmed that a descendant of this man, Billy Jack Limbaugh Sr., was responsible for these crimes. A possibility? His son, Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr., a Lubbock resident who lived on the northeast side of the city, not far from where Adam's body was found. A detective working this case recalled another unsolved crime from earlier this year, an aggravated kidnapping and robbery. The woman said a white male offered her a ride. She said he was in his 40s, about 6 feet tall with brown hair. She also gave smaller details that might seem immaterial. He smelled like oil and fuel. He looked dirty, like he had just gotten off of work. He wore a long-sleeve button-up shirt with a name tag. He went by Billy. She gave a very specific description of the car he drove. It was a blue sports car with a rear deck spoiler. She began to panic when he didn't stop at her friend's house, saying, quote, "Not today, sweetie." He said he was going to, quote, take her to his country home to do as he pleased. After a struggle in the car, Billy threw her out and she called police. Could this be the same Billy? Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr., the latest suspect in the unsolved homicide and aggravated sexual assault cases from 2008. White male, 43 years old, 6'2", brown hair, drives a blue Chevrolet Malibu and a blue Ford Mustang. Works as a roofer in Lubbock. Lives off of Idalou Road, less than 2 miles from where the woman was thrown out of the car. This description led to Limbaugh Jr.'s arrest. Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr. is facing multiple felony charges. His trial date has not yet been set. He has not been linked to any other unsolved homicide cases, but police are investigating the possibility. Meanwhile, we are still studying the other 5 cases in our special investigation. Our goal is to help police with leads that will bring someone to justice because someone knows something. Now, if you have any information, you are asked to call Crime Line at 741-1000. That is an anonymous tip line that is open to callers 24/7. Karen and Abner. Karen and Abner, tonight we want to focus on the 2007 homicide of 40-year-old Salina Melody Kuykendall. She was found off a Municipal Drive near Olive Avenue. That's not far from where Monica Adams' body would be found just 1 year later. Now, a few weeks ago, a big break in the Monica Adams case as new information led to the arrest of this man, Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr. He is now charged with Adams' murder. Tonight, we hope our story will generate leads in Kuykendall's homicide, because in every case, someone knows something. Tuesday, April 10th, 2007. A jogger in northeast Lubbock makes a gruesome discovery. In a remote field at the base of this cell phone tower, a woman's lifeless body badly beaten and stabbed.
Her crime scene was very difficult.
Captain John Caspel with the Lubbock Police Department says the elements,
there was a rather heavy dirt storm,
and time,
we know she'd been there for at least several hours, maybe a day or two,
continue to work against them.
On that particular day, we had winds that started early morning, continued all the way through the evening into midnight. We had wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour in Lubbock during the day, blowing dust along with that, reduced visibility to less than 3 miles. So the wind and the dust were definitely an issue.
In fact, a search through KCBD archives shows exactly what it looked like the day Kuykendall was found. Our investigation also shows there was snow on April 7th and 8th and rain on the 9th. Despite these weather conditions, authorities were able to identify through fingerprint analysis the woman is 40-year-old Salina Melody Kuykendall. Police struggled to find people who knew her. She had moved to Lubbock from the Houston area about 8 months earlier and lived at the Hickory Tree Apartments. In 2007, KCBD did find a neighbor, Greg Russum, who said he spoke to Kuykendall from time to time.
I said, "Hey, what's your name?" And she said, "I'm Melody," and I introduced myself. I would see her outside and talk to her every once in a while. She was real sweet, very nice girl.
What we did learn from Russum is that Kuykendall didn't try to keep her past a secret.
She talked about she had a few legal issues pending here, and that's why she was here. There's a lot of girls that walk the streets around here, and man, everybody's been saying somebody's going to end up dead, and she did.
So what about the jogger who discovered her body? Could he bring any new information to police? We've learned the jogger was an out-of-town pastor who died earlier this year. But his friend, who helped call police and saw Kuykendall's naked, beaten body, says he is still working to put that horrific crime scene behind him. He didn't want to speak to us on camera, but tells us suspicious activity is not unusual for this rural road, which is why he says his family avoids this portion of Municipal Drive when coming and going from their nearby neighborhood. 7 years later, police have a name, a face, and a plea to anyone who may have information.
Try and remember, and I know it's been several years, think back to around that date. If they saw any sort of a vehicle driving around in that field, just the smallest little bit of evidence, the tiniest lead might guide us in the right direction. Someone knows something.
After we launched this investigation last week, police tell us they have received tips about these unsolved cases. If you have any information, you are asked to call Crime Line at 741-1000. That is an anonymous tip line open 24/7. Karen and Abner.
It's very dangerous. I mean, I ask myself sometimes why, I'm surprised I'm still alive to this day.
November 13th, 2002.
I've been through a lot, I've had my friends killed in front of me, and, I've seen a lot.
An exclusive interview with 20-year-old Linda Trevino Carbajal.
People say I'm out there, prostitute. It's not really prostitution, I was out there kind of smoking dope, selling dope, just trying to keep myself going.
Defending the only lifestyle she'd really ever known.
It started back when I was 11 years old. Well, my mother was taken to prison, so I kind of went wild there. So I started using drugs, and from drugs I went to the streets.
A lifestyle that landed her in jail 39 times.
Last time I was incarcerated for 7 months. I was out for 3 days, and I was right back in.
She told us back then that this time would be the last.
I really want to better myself, not only for me, but for my daughter and for my grandmother. Because, life is too short.
1 year after this interview, at 21 years old, Carbajal was found dead, partially nude, dumped on a county road just outside of New Deal.
just like trash, without any care or consideration, thought whatsoever. There was a dumping ground.
Assistant Chief Deputy Doug Sutton has worked this case for 10 years.
There was no gunshots, there was no knife wounds. It would be some type of physical cause, someone using their hands.
He says they are close to catching Carvajal's killer. And he believes it is likely the same person who killed her roommate, 21-year-old Cynthia Palacio. Palacio was strangled and dumped on a county road just 1 year earlier. Sutton says someone out there,
They may have a family member,
knows something
someone that changes their personality, suddenly becomes very religious.
that could bring this killer to justice.
But we do plead to the public. There's somebody out there knows about this. Let's help these girls. Let's give their family some resolution.
Karen and Abner, tonight we want to focus on 21-year-old Cynthia Palacio. Her body was found just outside of Slayton back in 2003. On a Tuesday morning in July, around 7 o'clock, a mother with her young daughter in the car wonders if what she sees in the distance is real. A 911 call, an investigation, confirmation that what she saw was in fact a young woman's body, naked from the waist down, dumped on this dirt road. Cause of death, strangulation. Investigators have confirmed with KCBD that they now believe the person who killed Palacio was driving a pickup or possibly a vehicle with heavy-duty tires. They also tell us this: it could be the same truck that dumped Carvajal's body just 1 year later. Now here's what else we know. These women were roommates. They were both born the same month in the same year. They were both killed at 21 years old, and they were both dumped on county roads. Investigators believe the man driving that truck could be Hispanic or possibly Native American. Investigators say they are close to a breakthrough in this case, and tonight a plea to the person who may know something.
These are someone's babies. If that were you that were laying on that road dead, what would you want everybody to do for you? Would you want them to just leave you discarded, left there for nothing, trash? Or would you want everyone to do everything they can possibly do, to find the killers?
Now, once again, Palacio's body was found in 2003 near Slayton, and Carvajal was found just a few miles outside of New Deal in 2004. Both of these women died of strangulation. The man who may have killed both of these women is most likely Hispanic or possibly Native American, and someone who drives a truck or a vehicle with heavy-duty tires. Now, if you know something about these homicides, please call Crime Line at 741-1000. Karen and Abner. Karen and Abner, Amanda Schwinn was the first of 3 women whose bodies would be found in this remote area. Schwinn in 1999, Salina Kuykendall in 2007, and Monica Adams in 2008. Their bodies were discovered less than 3 miles from each other. In October, Lubbock police arrested this man, Billy Jack Limbaugh Jr., and charged him with Adams' murder. And while this investigation is ongoing, he has not been connected to any of these other unsolved homicides. Tonight, we want to focus on Schwinn and hopes her story will encourage someone to come forward with information, because in every case, someone knows something.
Her murder was brutal. I've seen pictures, so I know what they did to my daughter.
15 years have passed, but the memories haven't faded.
It's just like it's the first day every day.
Except for the day Tina White buried her daughter.
All I seen was an image and a bunch of fog, and that's all I remember.
19-year-old Amanda Schwinn. Cause of death, blunt force trauma, multiple blows to the head. On July 1st of 1999, farm workers discovered Schwinn's lifeless body in this remote field off of East Municipal Drive and North Olive Avenue.
I had just talked to her 2 days before. I told her I loved her. She said, I love you too, Mama, you know that.
Was there anything in that conversation or in her voice that led you to believe that she would be in danger?
Nothing. Nothing. Mm-mm.
At one point, investigators thought they had solved this horrific crime.
They had arrested a man 6 years after she was murdered.
Tony Medford. Arrested and indicted, but the charge was dismissed for insufficient evidence.
Attorney Jeff Nicholson represented the only man ever charged with the murder.
Tony was investigated for a period off and on of 4 years before he ever asked for a lawyer. Once he was indicted, he cooperated fully. We gave them any information they wanted. We gave them any physical evidence they wanted. I'm absolutely convinced he did not do it.
3 months old here.
15 years after Schwinn's homicide,
This was the last Christmas that I had with her.
investigators are still searching for a suspect.
What would help you get the closure that you need, or do you think you'll ever get that?
No, not when they solve it and I can ask the one question, why? Why did you take my daughter's life?
A plea from a grieving mother.
Please come forward and let this get solved so I can have some closure.
Once again, Amanda Schwinn was found on July 1st of 1999 in this remote area off of East Municipal Drive and Olive Avenue. Police believe someone out there knows something about her homicide. Now, if that person is you, please call Crime Line at 741-1000. Karen and Abner. Karen and Abner, Phyllis Uzetta Robinson, a mother of 3, was last seen in July of 1994, not far from her Lubbock home in the 1800 block of East 1st Street. Investigators have learned she walked to a nearby convenience store to buy a pack of cigarettes, but she never returned home. 9 months later, her body was discovered nearly 30 miles away, dumped just inside the Terry County line. Her family says Robinson was not familiar with this area. Now, a lot has changed in 20 years. A Texas Ranger who helped launch this investigation is now the Terry County Sheriff. And one of the original investigators on this case is now the Brownfield Police Chief. And while their positions may have changed, one thing hasn't: their dedication to solving this case.
There is somebody out there that knows what happened to Phyllis Robinson. I don't have any doubt in my mind about that. This is where she was found.
On April 4th of 1995, a farmer spots a woman walking through this old farmhouse on his property. She asks if she can buy some of the antique furniture inside to sell at a flea market. And while he's not interested in that deal, he is interested in the bag of human bones she has with her.
They got her tag number. They called me. We did find some more skeletal remains at the location where she said she found this skull.
The skeletal remains of a woman, later identified through dental records as 29-year-old Phyllis Uzetta Robinson. A 9-month-old Lubbock County missing person case, now a homicide investigation.
Cause of death was never determined.
No, ma'am. The pathologist did rule it a homicide because of the circumstances involved.
Investigators believe she was killed in Lubbock and dumped here, just inside the Terry County line.
So we really are right there on the meeting place.
Right at the meeting corner of Hockley, Terry, and Lynn in Lubbock.
20 years later, the terrain looks a little different, but getting to this remote location still isn't easy. You park on this dirt road, climb up a bar ditch, and walk about 30 yards.
Very isolated area. They did go to good extreme to keep her from being located.
And with no new leads, these investigators are hoping someone will come forward with information.
God loved her. You know, her family loved her, and you just hate to see something like this never solved.
Again, Robinson was last seen walking in the 1800 block of East 1st Street, but her body was found here just inside the Terry County line. Now, investigators are counting on someone to come forward with information about this case. If that person is you, please call Crime Line at 741-1000. Karen and Abner.
All right, thanks, Shaley.